Backstage Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete height of Broadway. As we join our friends today, we find Mary and Harry with their friend's hot, beloved stage doorman welcoming next-door neighbor Calvin Hoogerman.
Hi.
Oh.
The mother of me is in a catatonic state, and I had no one to talk to, so I came over to rap with you folks.
Well, what do you mean by that, Calvin? There's a lady present.
Talk, shoot the breeze.
Oh, rap. Fine. What, have you had your dinner?
No.
Well, join us.
For lunch, I had tomato soup with vermicelli in it.
Very using her good dinnerware, too, Calvin.
And the hollow stem glasses.
And the new plastic cruet.
Cruet?
Cruet? The one I gave you for Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah. Fine. Say, I had an interesting experience today.
That's all?
Yes, I was sauntering through Penn Station when this gentleman came up and tapped me on the shoulder.
Uh-huh.
He says, do you know, young man, that you've got holes in the heels of both your socks?
Was the perfect stranger, Calvin?
Well, not really. I'd seen him on TV. So I said, well, yeah, I think I know it, Ralph. And he says, do you happen to know the name of the manufacturer of those faulty stockings?
Well, did you?
No. Well, I told him that the box they came in was home, and that had the name of the manufacturer on it, see?
Ah.
I also said the name was on the soles of my socks, but I didn't want to take off my shoe to read my sock in French version.
Well, what does this all lead up to,
Well,
Calvin?
he explained that he was investigating sock manufacturers, and he might want me to testify.
Well, who the heck is he, Calvin?
Well, here's the card he gave me. His name is, Crusader. Ralph Crusader.
Crusader?
Crusader?
Crusader? He's a famous consumer spokesman?
Yes, sir.
I've heard about him. He's the one responsible for the big callback by sock manufacturers.
Right. Last month alone, over 110,000 pair of socks were recalled because the heels were attached with a 1949 type of stitching that could give away after being in the shoe for only 15 minutes.
Can you imagine what would happen if you were driving and your heels suddenly came loose from your socks inside your shoe?
Or if at an important social affair you took off your shoe and found your sock heel hanging, why, you'd be laughed at and scorned.
Or imagine the mental strain you'd suffer just sitting in a chair and feeling the heel come loose.
Well, think of walking around with your heel off your socks and not know it. Running the risk of blood points, insect bites, and all that.
Now that you mention it, I see more and more people whose socks must have been recalled because they go around with just their bare feet stuck in their shoes. Well, as Calvin Hoogerman stumbled into a situation which may have far-reaching effects on our friends in Skunk Haven and the nation, join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
I think this is a very lovely cruet.
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete height of Broadway. In Washington, Calvin Hoogerman prepares to take the witness chair in the investigation into faulty socks being conducted by consumer advocate Ralph Crusader, while in Skunk Haven, meanwhile, we join Mary and Harry backstage as they welcome Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary, to their home. And we hear...
Oh, come in.
Well, hello, Greg.
Oh, hi, Mary.
How are you?
Oh, just fine. I have some exciting news.
Exciting news. That sounds as if maybe there's a play in the offing, Greg.
Yes, that's right.
Sit down.
Oh, thank you.
Mary, maybe Greg would like some cocoa.
Would you like some cocoa, Greg?
Well, that'd be fine, Mary. You going to make it in the kitchen?
Yes.
Well, maybe I'll go with you.
Well, why don't you let Mary go and make it, Greg, and you and I can sit here and talk business. I'm quite excited when you mention a new show that, of course, it involves me and that...
All right, Mary, I'll see you later. Yes, Harry, we're going to present Westchester Furioso. I just bought the rights.
Say, that was quite a big hit when it played here in New York some years ago, wasn't it?
No, that was another show. That was...
Orlando Furioso.
Orlando Furioso.
Yes, I saw that back of the public library.
Yeah, that's right. But this isn't anything like that. This is just the story of an average Westchester resident who was furious. Ticked off about everything in general. About his mortgage, food prices, life in his car, everything just seems to have him bugged.
Certainly sounded like a timely topic for a play.
I think you play an important part in this. Incidentally...
The leading role, you mean?
Well, not exactly the leading role, Harry, but...
Well, someone will be appearing with me, you mean co-starring with me?
Yes. Mary, of course, I'm going to bring back to the stage.
You're going to bring Mary back to the theater?
Yes.
But she's
going to play the wife of this mad Westchester person.
Then she'll be portraying my wife, Greg.
Yes.
In other words, we'll be playing opposite one another.
You won't be playing the husband, Harry.
Oh?
But as I said, you will have an important part. The real reason I'm here today, though, is I'd like to get your okay.
Yes?
A friend of mine wants to use your hands in an ad.
My hands?
Well, they want you to be holding a chainsaw.
Well, will my face be in the ad, too?
No, I don't want
is it
your
a
face.
testimonial, or...?
No. They just want somebody's hands to hold this chainsaw. It's going to be in a lot of big magazines.
You think it's an opportunity for me, Greg?
It'll put your hands on the map.
Well, I'll think it over and let you know tomorrow. And so Greg Marlowe arrives at the Backstage home with news of a new play he plans to produce, Westchester Furioso, and with an offer for Harry Backstage to pose as a hand model. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Mary say,
Oh, what wonderful news, Greg.
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the footlights and their fight for security and happiness against the concrete height of Broadway. Yesterday, Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary, announced that he was planning on producing a new Broadway show called Westchester Furioso, starring Harry Backstage, featuring the return of Mary Backstage to the Broadway theater. Now, still shocked by the announcement, we see Mary and Harry and Greg, and we hear...
Greg, Harry, I'm sorry. I was just on the phone a moment ago. I was talking with the agency in town.
Oh, yes, Greg.
And they've been doing some rethinking on that ad that they were planning for the magazine.
You mean just showing my hands holding the chainsaw?
Yes. They think they might have a profile shot of you now as you admire the chainsaw in somebody else's yard.
Well, that's a little bit better. Of course, this is a fringe benefit of appearing on the stage. I know it's one of those things that you get to do if you make yourself a name in the theater.
You have a copy of the script so we could look over Westchester Furioso, Greg?
Yes, we'd like to read to read the script over the weekend, Greg. Then we'd know better about how to discuss it.
I'll leave 2 copies with you, and you can go over them this weekend, and I'll check with you on Monday.
All right. Anything particular you want us to look for as we read through it?
Is that an ink stain on your hand, Harry?
Yes, it's from the old-fashioned fountain pen I use.
You still use those old-fashioned barrel-type fountain pens?
Well, they still write the best, I think.
All right. I'll see you Monday, and I hope you really think this thing through.
And so Greg Marlowe leaves, and the Backstages ponder the script of Westchester Furioso in preparation for the forthcoming Broadway return. Be sure and join us on Monday when we'll hear Mary say,
Yes, it's 90 proof.
in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the footlights and their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway.
Today, the Backstagers are brought to you by American Airlines, who suggest you go to Palm Springs. You can have 7 days and 6 nights at a great hotel, plus sightseeing. Only $311 based on double occupancy, including round-trip airfare. American Airlines to the good life. It's shortly after our last episode now at the Backstage summer home in Skunk Haven, Long Island, as we see Mary, Harry, Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary, and Calvin L. Hoogovan, their next-door neighbor, and Pop Beloved, who have just arrived. And we hear Mary say,
"Oh, come in, Calvin.
Hey, Calvin.
Tell us about what happened down in Washington."
Hadn't expected to see you two back here for some time.
Hi, everybody.
Well, you'll never believe what happened. They called the hearings off, or adjourned them anyway.
They adjourned the hearings for at least 4 weeks.
Adjourned the hearings?
Yeah, well, they couldn't get anybody over from the White House to talk or anything, so they just said, well, let's cool it for a while.
Pretty exciting.
Oh, excuse me. Are those Spanish peanuts there?
Well, yes, they are.
Why do I have a fistful?
Help yourself.
Good, thank you.
Well, that's certainly a surprise. I know Ralph Crusader must be pretty upset that they've postponed the hearings. He was all set to really take off after those faulty sock manufacturers.
Well, yes, he was.
He had the stuff on him.
But he's a cool number.
Cool cat, huh?
You can't get him disturbed. No, sir, Ralph just takes it in stride like nobody's business.
Well, what's the news around here, Mary? What's new?
Are those mixed nuts over there?
Yes.
Oh.
And there's macadamians over here.
Well, let me try these mixed nuts first, and I'll get to the macadamians in a little while.
Well, they just moved in. No, the big news with us, Calvin.
What a sense of humor you always had, Harry. Too bad they never put you in the comedy.
The big news with us is that Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary here, has just planned to produce a new Broadway show starring the both of us.
Sounds like a flop.
The both of you? You and Mary back on Broadway? That's right.
What's it going to be, a comedy or...
Well, we don't know. We haven't read the script yet, have we, Greg? Greg was going to leave it with us before he went back to New York today.
Has somebody been into these Spanish peanuts?
Well, yes, just Calvin. What? Well, there are none left, Calvin.
They're my favorite, you know.
You ate all of them?
Well, I didn't know. I thought you people were here eating. I didn't know.
What's the play going to be called?
There weren't more than 40 in there.
Well,
and what are 40 Spanish peanuts?
Certainly more than one fistful.
Practically nothing.
I don't look at it that way.
What's the play going to be called,
Well,
Harry?
sorry, I didn't mean to start up World War IV.
Well, don't get in a fight over Spanish peanuts. There are other nuts over there, mixed nuts in that bowl.
Who are you looking at when you say that?
I'm looking at you.
No, really, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going to cause a storm by taking a few peanuts.
What's the play going to be called, Harry? It's called Westchester Furioso, Pop.
Or a comedy?
Well, we don't know. We haven't read it yet, but it sounds like it's right down our alley, the kind of thing that Mary and I are so good at. Singing, dancing, that sort of thing.
I hear you're going to use your hand as a model for holding a chainsaw in a big magazine ad.
Well, that's just a little fringe benefit that you get from being starred on Broadway.
Have you started biting your nails?
When do you start rehearsing? Do you know, Harry? No, I don't. Greg will let us know all about that as soon as his plans are concrete.
Oh, excuse me. I see an ambulance coming up the driveway.
And so Calvin and Pop have returned from Washington. Mary and Harry prepare to read Greg Marlowe's script for his new production, Orlando Furioso. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear more about the ambulance, and we'll hear Calvin say,
"What is this, 90 proof or what?"
in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
Thank you, sir. It's 25 past 4 now. Say, the Backstages are getting into some excitement now.
Look, they're never better than when they're in production for a Broadway show. Say hello to Chester Hasbrook Frisbee, who writes Mary Backstage. I think you've really touched on some timely things there already, Chad.
I just want to remind you that you don't always have to refer to me as Chester Hasbrook Frisbee. It seems a little stilted to me, actually. It sounds as though, I'm somebody set apart from the average person with just a first name, middle initial, and last name.
I notice a lot of our mail, Chester Hasbrook Frisbee, is asking where is the story going to go.
Honestly, he has a stone ear when I talk to him.
Once Mary and Harry hit the boards again, once they return to Broadway, what's going to happen? Can you give us any hint?
Well, Robert Brackett Elliott, let me put it this way to you. Yes, it's going to be a smash success. I think it will be the first time in the history of the Backstages that they will be involved in a hit Broadway show.
Well, it's going to be in the Minskoff Theater, but I guess there won't be any room for that for a while.
It's going to be in the Ritz.
It is. Chester Hasbrook Frisbee, thank you for coming by. talking with us, the author of Mary Backstage.
I mean, really.
Noble Wife.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the footlights and their fight for security and happiness against the concrete height of Broadway. It's shortly after yesterday's episode now at the Backstage summer home in Skunk Haven, Long Island. Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary, is about to leave. And as he goes, he's leaving the copy of the scripts of Westchester Furioso, the new play that Mary and Harry will star in. And we hear Mary say...
Well, thank you very much, Greg. I think this is going to be fun.
Yes, I think it'll be great for all of us, Greg, to be back on Broadway once again.
Well, I hope so. I hope you like it.
We'll read the show, and we'll get back to you
Bye,
as soon as we have an opinion.
Hi, Greg.
Mary, I want you to know that...
Greg's leaving now, I guess, Calvin. Probably going back to his office in New York.
That's right.
Yes, he'll be going back, and, of course, he'll be waiting for our opinion of the play. He's secretly in love with Mary, you know, Harry. Yes, I know that, Pop. Calvin, would you leave a few of those Spanish peanuts? They're not all for you, you know.
Oh, Greg has such a wonderful sense of humor. Now, whatever happened to those Spanish peanuts?
Calvin's eaten them all.
What's the matter? I can't leave those Spanish peanuts alone.
Well, of course it is difficult.
Where's that Greg Goulding, that fellow there, Mary?
Well, he's going back to his
Going back to his office in New York.
Yes.
We'll call him after we read the play and let him know. Oh, telephone.
What was that for you, the telephone?
Telephone, Harry.
Telephone, Harry.
Right. Let me.
I think the telephone is ringing,
Right.
Harry.
Why don't I answer it?
Fine.
Hello?
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 This the Backstage resident?
Yes, this is Harry Backstage speaking.
Good. This is Harry Furbish in Seattle.
Seattle, Washington?
I don't know if you've heard of me, but have you heard of the Space Needle?
Well, yes, that's that restaurant at the top of that big tower, isn't it? The one
The
that
Space Needle isn't a restaurant. There's a restaurant on the Space
On
Needle.
the Needle.
That slowly revolves. It takes about 45 minutes to make the complete circle.
Yes, I've seen pictures of it.
Well, we read something here in the gossip column out here in Seattle that you Backstages are going into a new play for Greg Marlowe.
Boy, news travels fast, doesn't it? How do you know, Pop? You can't hear what he's saying to me.
And we thought that maybe you could bring your play out here and try it here in Seattle.
Try out Westchester Furioso in Seattle?
Try it on these apple knockers out here.
Sounds like a pretty good idea, Harry.
We could arrange to have a stage built up in that restaurant that you speak of, and you would slowly revolve.
Be the first time you've ever done theater in the round, I guess. Will you be quiet, Pop? You can't hear what he's saying.
Who is it, Harry?
It's a man from Seattle, Mary. Wants us to try out our show in the top of the Space Needle as it goes around and around.
How exciting.
We'll get back to you, Harry.
Fine.
Bye.
Hello?
Hello?
I thought we'd cut out there for a minute.
No.
When will you get back to me?
Well, let me have your number, and I'll call you back as soon as
Hey,
we
look, I
decide.
gotta run. There's an ambulance coming here.
And so Mary and Harry receive an offer from Seattle to open their play Westchester Furioso, the top of the Space Needle. Be sure and join us tomorrow when they'll make their decision, and we'll hear Greg Marlowe say,
Why, of course. That would be a great idea.
in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the footlights and their fight for security and happiness against the concrete height of Broadway. It's several days after our last episode now. The offer from the theater in Seattle has been accepted by Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary, and rehearsals have already begun at a theater in New York, preparatory to their leaving for the West Coast. Now, outside the rehearsal hall, we see Greg, Mary, Harry, and Calvin
together with pop-beloved stage doorman, as they discussed.
Yes, I made final arrangements with the chap in Seattle, and we're going to open there in the Space Needle restaurant.
Well,
on the 1st of April.
All very exciting, Greg.
Isn't that kind of risky?
Why, what do you mean, Calvin? What's
April Fool's Day to start that, then.
Oh, well, we don't go by those old superstitions.
Well, because of the rush of time, I've had the chorus. Well, let's step inside the theater here at the rehearsal hall, and I've had the chorus working since 10 o'clock this morning.
Oh, good.
This is the finale of the first act.
I've been making activity.
How exciting.
We certainly enjoyed reading the script of the play, Greg. It
Hiya, girls.
looks like it's just the thing for us. When will you be leaving for Seattle, Greg, do you know?
I think we'll go out the 29th of March.
That won't give us much time to get used to the theater out there.
Well, we'll be there. It only takes you 6 hours to get out there, you know. All right.
But I mean, we'll be opening a couple of days later.
That's all you need. Real troops.
Hiya, girls.
You know, that chorus is doing pretty good for only having been rehearsing for a few hours now.
Well, they're seasoned troopers, too. Seasoned troopers.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Hiya, girls.
Mary, do you think you're going to be able to carry the musical numbers?
I don't know as I can dance like I used to. Watching those young girls out there now, I'm getting a little frightened.
Take a break, girls.
I'll do that, Pop.
Oh, okay.
Take a break, girls.
You mean you don't...
I'm the producer of this show, and don't you forget it.
You don't know whether you'll be able to sing the songs, Mary, to dance the numbers? Is that what you're afraid of?
It's, what did you say?
I say you're afraid of singing the numbers, dancing the numbers?
Are you talking to me?
Oh, Mary, I'm talking to.
Oh, no. No, I just don't think I can dance like I used to.
Hey, who's that coming into the back of the theater? He certainly looks familiar to me. Yes, he does to me, too.
Who?
It's Harry Backstage, Jr.
Harry Backstage, Jr.?
Your son, Mary, home from college.
Home from college?
And so, as rehearsals go on, Harry Backstage, Jr. returns to his parents' life. Will this affect their trip to Seattle and the opening of Westchester Furioso, their new play? Be sure and join us tomorrow, and we'll hear Mary say,
You mean your father has to go and talk to the dean?
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Today...
Stuck. They're stuck. Now they're broken. Sorry. Go ahead.
Today, Mary, Harry, Pop, and Calvin are preparing to leave New York for their trip to the West Coast and the opening of Westchester Furioso. And at the Backstage summer home in Skunk Haven, we hear Mary say,
Anybody want some cocoa? I just made a big pot.
No, I don't believe so.
Anybody...
Now I can hear you better, Mary.
Anybody would like a pitcher full of Manhattans?
Hey.
What are you talking about?
Hey, now, baby.
What are you talking about?
Well, I just feel so giddy thinking that we'll be leaving for Seattle in a few days.
On Monday, I think, our tickets call for us to leave, and we're going by train, Calvin.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
You're not flying?
No. We thought it might be nice to take a leisurely trip by train to the coast.
Yes, we thought it would be nice to get to see the country, and also it would give us an opportunity to learn our lines. So by the time we get to Seattle, we'll be able to enjoy salmon and won't have to stay home and read our lines.
Some of them Dungeness crabs, too.
Salmon.
Those what? Dungeness crabs. Don't they get those out that way?
Oh, they're so delicious.
Yes, and those, I'm trying to think, those gooey ducks.
Chocolate-covered peanuts?
They have gooey ducks in Seattle.
What is that exactly? I've heard it's some kind of a seafood, isn't it?
It's a clam. You can't believe the size of it. It's about 4-pound clam.
Wow, makes me sick to think of it.
Well, I don't think we'll bother with the gooey ducks while we're there.
But we will be able to see some of the countryside along the way and learn our lines, as you say. I'll bet a lot of the country has changed since we last traveled, Mary.
Oh, yes, the buffalo have been almost wiped out, you know, the bison.
I know they have. Well, let's get to the cliffhanger because
Mary,
this episode is nearly over.
Mary, are you going to take this dining room table with you?
No, we're not taking any furniture with us, Calvin. We won't be there for forever,
What
you
in
know.
the world would we take the dining room table with us for?
Well, it's a nice one, and, you can seat the 6 of us around there comfortably.
Well, you can go to a restaurant while we're in Seattle. What are you going over in the corner for, Pop? You going to dance a little bit?
Hey, I might just do that.
Let's all watch Pop dance.
Give me a handful of that sand there. Let me spread it around the linoleum.
I'll go get the vacuum so we can clean up after you're through there.
Backstagers, telegram.
Wait a minute. A telegram?
Telegram.
Good news or bad?
I don't know. You'll have to read it yourself. I can't make head or tail of it.
Let me see. Hate to get telegrams.
Well, don't tear it into shreds. Just read it.
Mary, look at this.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
So on the eve of their departure for Seattle, a telegram arrives and seems to stir the concern of Mary and Harry. Be sure and join us on Monday when we'll hear Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary, say, "Oh, my," in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Today, Mary, Harry, Pop, Calvin, and Greg Marlowe are all preparing to leave the Backstage summer home in Skunk Haven, Long Island, for the long trek to Seattle, Washington, and the opening of Greg's new play, Westchester Furioso. Last-minute pieces of business are being done at the Backstage home now as we see all of our friends packing and getting ready to leave for the train.
I just want to remind you all that, it rains a lot in Seattle, so you better bring your raincoat.
That's right. It can be pretty gloomy out there sometimes.
Yeah, it gets drizzly. It doesn't pour. It just drizzles like all the time.
You think I'll need my galoshes, Calvin?
I'd recommend you take them, sure.
Mary, would you put the galoshes in, or is there room?
Oh, I think there's room for them.
If there isn't, I'll put them in my briefcase.
No, I'll just cover them with newspaper so they won't rub off on your shirts, you see.
You got plenty of Spanish peanuts to eat on the train, Mary? You know how handy those things will be.
We'll take some. Don't need to worry about that. It's been a long time since we've gone across the country on a train,
Oh, it certainly has, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be rather fun to spend 2 or 3 days on the train, watching the countryside, seeing various cities that we've come to know, cities we've played at.
Me, it's just reliving my geography lessons when I was a boy in school. We'll be going out through Montana and Colorado and Utah and up in that way, They're still changing Chicago, do you know?
I don't know. I don't think we have to get off the train, Calvin. Do you know, Greg?
No, you don't have to change Chicago anymore. You stay on the same train. Yes. Clear through, right to Seattle.
Calvin, I think that's my umbrella you're packing in your bag.
I think you're wrong, buddy. That's my umbrella. The initials right on it.
I knew it was mine because instead of a little string that you wrap around it, holds it together.
This was given to me on my birthday by the mother of me.
I don't see any initials on there. The elastic band
There's
is
no initials on this, but the one at home has my initials
that
on it.
one there is my umbrella.
You're crazy. This is not.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
Now, can I have my umbrella?
I'm sorry. I guess I won't need it that much anyway.
Pop, I never realized.
Pop, I never saw you get so physical. What's the matter with you?
I don't know. I'm jumpy, Barry, that's all. It's the prospect of a long trip.
The more I think about it, why do we need you out in Seattle?
They'll have a doorman, of course, at the theater we'll be appearing at.
I don't think you ought to go.
What's that?
I said I don't think you ought to go.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
Here.
Stop it now.
Why is it we can't conduct ourselves like ladies and gentlemen? This is ridiculous.
Stop this petty fighting, Calvin and Pop. We're all going.
Well,
We've
listen,
got tickets.
We can't have this across the country. Now, we have to make up our minds to that right now.
All right, I'm sorry, Calvin.
All right, Pop, watch it from now on.
Right, I will. I think it's time to leave, folks.
Big stiff.
And so our friends prepare to leave Skunk Haven and head for New York City on the train which will take them west. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Mary say,
Put 'em up, Pop.
that's in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife, Word Car speaking.
Amazing.
Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete height of Broadway. Mary, Harry, Pop beloved stage doorman Calvin Hoogervin, their next-door neighbor, and producer Greg Marlowe, secretly in love with Mary, are leaving now for Seattle, Washington, and the opening of Greg's new play, Westchester Furioso. And at New York's famous Grand Central Station, our friends are arriving one by one and preparing to board the train westward as we hear the siren.
Look, everybody follow me over here by the OTV windows. I'll give you your tickets and your assignments.
You have the roster there, Greg, of
Yes,
all
I
the
do,
passengers
Pop.
and everything?
Oh, how exciting. I haven't been in Grand Central in years and years.
Well, I've got my Gladstone here with me.
All right. Harry, you're
Yes,
going to be
sir.
in the Pullman car, Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin, let me just make a note of that because I'm not very good at my memory. It fails me at times.
It's car 418.
418, Pullman car 418. Great. Mary, shall we go? And
Mary
we'll
will be in car 206, Pullman Martha, Washington.
Greg?
Compartment C, Mary.
Greg, I think you made a mistake there.
No, I'm on the same car, 206, compartment F.
Mary will be in Pullman car Martha, Washington.
And I will be, and you're in the Ben Franklin. Incidentally, I think that will be 2 cars ahead of ours.
I see, Greg.
Now, Pop,
that's all you could get, I suppose.
this is the last minute thing I could make.
Pop, Mary, I'll see you then. I know the Ben Franklin is further out on the
Wait a
track.
minute, Pop. You're in, where's Pop?
Right here, Mary.
No, I mean, where's he riding?
Oh, he's in,
You got the tickets there, Greg?
he's coach. Pop, you're in car 141, and you take a seat. They're rush seats. And Calvin, it's a rush seat for you, too. So the quicker you get aboard...
Indeed, Calvin and I better just make a run for it now and get whatever we can.
We ride. Let me see if I got this right, you cheapskate. We're on coach, and you guys are riding.
It's all we
first
can
class.
get, I imagine, Calvin. The last minute you can't get reservations.
All aboard.
Oh, they're calling all aboard. Have you got your bag there, Calvin?
Yeah, I'm all set.
We'll see you, Greg, Mary, Harry. We'll join
we'll
you
see you in
sometime.
the dining car, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. I'll come 2 cars forward and get with you, Mary, there after we get aboard.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, it's pulling out now.
Oh, my. I haven't...
Hurry up, Mary. Who's that standing by the gate back there?
He's a friend of the conductor's. He likes to sing.
Sing. Oh, Greg, that's a nice touch. Did you arrange that?
Yes, isn't that lovely? Just listen.
Oh, I hope the train waits for us. And so our friends board their steam train at Grand Central Station and start their long trip westward. You'll want to join us for each exciting moment of our future episodes, and particularly tomorrow, when we'll hear Mary say,
Oh, Greg, how nice to meet you here in the dining car.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife, Word Car speaking. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Aboard the crack Hummingbird Express heading westward, Mary, Harry, Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary, Pop, beloved stage doorman, and Calvin L. Hoogovan are getting together in Greg Marlowe's compartment of the Pullman car Martha Washington as they discuss plans for the days ahead aboard the train.
Well, I hope you people in the compartments had a nice, comfortable sleep last night. I can only speak for myself, of course, by saying that I didn't.
Not too easy to sit up in a coach seat all night.
Too bad. You don't think, Greg, that we could get, some accommodations for these two in the compartments?
Yes, and Greg, it would be nice
so.
if I could get a compartment here in the Martha Washington instead of having mine 2 cars back in the Ben Franklin.
I'll look into that, Harry. I tried this morning, but the conductor said he couldn't do anything about it.
Sure.
They were booked until we are west of Chicago.
Have you found the dining car yet? How far away that is? I'm beginning to get hungry.
Yes.
Well, we've only been aboard for 5 minutes.
It's 4 cars forward.
4 forward.
Yes.
What route are they going to take? You know, are we going to...
Yes, we're going to go up through Buffalo this morning and then through Cleveland. And into Toledo and up into Chicago.
Oh, that'll be along the Great Lakes then.
We'll get a good view of Lake Erie.
Hey, look at that diesel passing. How did you happen to pick a train with a steam engine, Greg? Did you know that...
I have no choice. I take what they put on these trains.
Well, of course, but...
What was on that train heading east, anyway?
I couldn't tell. It looked like tank cars to me.
What would they be sending in tanks?
I don't know. Could be some kind of...
It had a skull and crossbone on each of those.
Oh, then it was poison. Had to be poison of some kind.
They still put that on poison things?
Well, I imagine so.
Well, anybody for the
yes,
food?
I'd be ready.
No, Harry, I was thinking maybe Mary and I go down and have early dinner, and then you and Pop and Calvin could eat later.
Well, yes, we could do that, I suppose. I could be studying the play while you're having...
Harry,
Yes,
let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Are you bananas or something?
Why? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, why don't you go and eat with those two? Don't you know what he's trying to do?
Well, Greg suggested that he and Mary eat first, and then the 3 of us eat later.
Well,
I'm hungry, but could I join you, Greg?
No,
and Mary?
no, absolutely not.
Well, go ahead then, and we'll have our dinner later. I'll study the play.
Let me put it this way. When we come back, that'll be a cue for you to leave and go to the dining car.
Good idea, Greg. Good idea.
Oh, brother.
Wow.
Oh, brother.
And so the long trip westward begins. Westward to Seattle, where Mary and Harry will open in Greg Marlowe's play, Westchester Furioso. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Greg Marlowe say...
Cleveland, I think I'll go out and get a breath of fresh air here.
That's in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Car speaking. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. In the lounge car of the crack Hummingbird Express heading west, Mary, Harry, Calvin, Pop, and Greg Marlowe are enjoying an after-dinner drink after their meal in the dining car. And as we join them, they're discussing the fact that the telegram delivered to them last Friday was by mistake.
It was funny that telegram was delivered to your home, Mary, and you, Harry.
Well, I guess they knew you were going to be there, Greg. It wasn't any bad news, I hope.
No, it was just that the desk I ordered had come in, and They want to know where to deliver it. I
You know
told
that-
them the winter. You know, I usually am very even-tempered. I can take almost anything, but this fella here is beginning to get on my nerves.
Well, he's some kind of a trained nut. He's been walking back and forth through the cars, making sounds like a train.
He's been in the club car all day, too. You can bet on that.
Yes, I guess he is. It's a little bit disturbing, actually, to be sitting here trying to enjoy
I think it's
ourselves.
bad. He's in the next seat in our coach, you know.
Yeah, he's right there.
next to him.
He hasn't got much sleep yet either, have you,
What he
Calvin?
does is he's imitating trains, you know. That's
Yes,
what he's
that's
doing.
what I understood he was doing.
He told me he goes back and forth across the country 4 or 5 times a year.
That's
Here he
right.
comes again. Hello. Boy, oh boy.
Well, I'm glad I'm in the Ben Franklin Pullman car. Say, did I tell you that they have inaugurated a new feature on this train? And it looks to me as if it's just about to begin. They're going to present live music here in the lounge car.
Oh, that's great. Wonderful.
Leave those two musicians down there at the end by the bar. Is that the entertainment? Yes, I believe so. They look as if they're going to start any minute. One of them's a violinist.
We must be due in Toledo shortly, aren't we?
Yes, I would think so, Mary. There's a short stop over there. We can get a breath of air, certainly. Walk around.
They're starting.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Would you, waiter, would you another round here?
One same thing, a pitcher of martini.
Right. Same thing.
Boy, they're really getting to that fella. One of the craziest trips I've ever made on a train. I'll have to say that for it.
Paging Mr. Backstage. Paging Mr. Backstage.
Yes, that's me.
A trainogram for you.
Oh, good.
Stay there, please.
Hey, you know, you can telephone trains now. When did they
This
have
is a trainogram.
All right, I'll sign for it. Here you are.
There you go.
Here's something for your trouble.
It isn't too bad. I read it.
Mary? Mary?
Yeah.
You know who this is from?
What?
It's from the man whose face we saw through the window as we left the dining car.
You mean the worst person in the world?
My long-lost black sheep brother, Fielding. And so Mary and Harry, Pop, Calvin, and Greg realize that Fielding Backstage has re-entered their lives. Is he aboard the train? What of the train buff who keeps traveling back and forth? Be sure and join us on Monday when we'll hear Mary say,
Why, hello, Fielding.
in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife.
Hello,
Red Carr
Mary.
speaking. Next, Mary Backstage Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Just after meeting Fielding Backstage, Harry's long-lost black sheep brother, at the stop in Chicago, our friends discovered that the train would be held over for 24 hours and that they must wait until the following day to head westward for the opening of their new play. So they've decided to attend a nightclub.
Very interesting. The conductor was telling me that we're going to be delayed several hours here in Chicago because the train on the Martha Washington, the coach, or whatever that is.
It's the Pullman car.
Pullman. It has developed a flat, not a flat tire, but a flat and a hot box problem.
Oh, that was the reason. You know something that just hit me between the eyes? That train buff is here at this nightclub with us.
I saw him come in.
Yes, I did too.
And he ordered beef, too, during the meat boycott.
Can you believe that?
He's a real, well, I don't know what to call him.
I hear there's entertainment at this club.
Yes, there's a new singer that they're introducing. Yes, I guess we'll have the same thing all around once again. Pitcher of martinis, Calvin?
Yeah, a pitcher of martinis for me.
Well, I'll have the same. 2 pitches. Yeah, I'll go along with that. Oh, say, there's the MC coming out on the stage. The show must be about to start.
Let me have this soda water.
Party pooper.
All right, Mary. One good thing, Fielding didn't come to the club with us. At least we can.
No, he's staying right on the train. He said he doesn't want to miss it when it pulls out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the club.
Oh, look, he looks just like Howard Cosell, doesn't he?
It's a real pleasure to introduce the star attraction, the new singing star from back east,
I'd like to break his jaw.
Mr. Lou Carter. Mr. Lou Carter, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a nice big Chicago welcome.
Never heard of him, did you, Calvin?
Yeah, I saw him on the Carson show once.
Oh, did you?
House to you, pretty baby. I got a torn right near my corn from walking barefoot through the hot house to you. And when I fell into the...
No, I don't believe so, waiter. We just
I seen
show.
her heart skip a beat.
This guy Carter doesn't want any food said while he's on. That's why I asked.
Well, we won't be any problem.
And he likes you to drink quietly.
I
Sip.
didn't even feel no pain
Right.
because there wasn't
All right.
rain in
Don't want to cause any grief.
I can't even hear him with all the talk going on here. I want to hear. I got a rose between my toes.
Hey, will you people dry up at the next table? I'm trying to enjoy this show.
Well, we're trying to hear the singer, too.
Bunch of squares from the east. Is that where you're from?
Yes, we're from New York.
Bunch of squares.
Lucky day, I got a rose between my toes from walking barefoot through the hot house to you.
I think he's good. He's got a good career.
Would you like to dance, Mary?
I don't think Mr. Carter wants you to dance while he's on.
No, the show is on, Greg. It's no time to dance.
I wasn't thinking.
Well, I hope that train will be ready to take off tomorrow morning anyway. I guess we'll have to stay at the hotel they put us up in.
Hey, buddy, at the next table. Would you move your chair back a little? You're in my way.
Feel no pain because there wasn't any rain.
Wow.
Pretty baby.
Oh, wicked left there, doesn't he, Calvin?
Why you died because the sun began to shine upon.
I'll be all right.
For now my feet
Is that the
feel
train,
warm
Bob?
and gay.
I think it is.
I got a roast.
Certainly ruining Lou Carter's act, that's for sure.
I don't know as I like this nightclub. It's kind of a little on the rough side.
I just found... And so an apparent riot breaks out at the nightclub, being attended by Mary, Harry, Calvin, Pop, and Greg. Be sure and join us tomorrow when the crack hummingbird heads west again, and we'll hear Mary say,
I plead nolo contendere, Your Honor.
in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife, Word Carr speaking. Mary Backstage Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. It's the morning after our last episode now as Mary, Harry, Pop, and Calvin stand on the train platform in Chicago preparing to reboard the crack Hummingbird Express to continue their trip westward and the performance of Greg Marlowe's play Westchester Furioso in Seattle. And as we join them, we hear Mary say,
Well, I hope Greg makes it. He had to go and make an important phone call, he said.
I don't know where he could be, though. He was there in court when the judge was so kind to us, and...
Oh, wasn't he generous?
Boy, letting us off with just that warning was the best thing I could think of after that melee that broke out.
Well, I think your pleading nolo contendere helped too, Mary.
Yes, it did, Mary.
Have you noticed this fella? He's always...
Have I noticed him?
But what I'm going to say, though, have you noticed he's always taking notes?
Yes, I saw him doing that, too. And that's hard to do, to go, hallelujah, 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 and write notes at the same time.
Sure is. I don't know what his point is.
Well, he's certainly going to get on the train with us again. again. We'd better board. I don't know whether Greg is going to make it or not. I've got my Gladstone bag here.
That's good.
That was nice of them to put us up overnight at the hotel. Well, we got the train fixed for the wheel or whatever it was.
Now, what car was I in?
You were in the Martha Washington, I think,
That's
Mary.
right.
I'm in the Ben Franklin.
Right.
Compartment C.
And Pop and I are through Coates, right?
Yes, as far as I know. Where do you suppose Greg is? Train is starting to move.
Here we go.
I don't see him anywhere.
Sir, what are you always writing notes about there? Hullabaloo, hullabaloo, hullabaloo. Whatever it is you say.
Doesn't seem to be paying any attention to you.
Why do you always write notes, sir?
No, he's not paying any attention at all. Well, we're on the way, and Greg isn't with us. There's that. They've got one of those here, too.
That's a nice touch, you know. Goodbye, sir.
I bet that's something the new train company has put into effect.
Could be.
Kind of like having a male steward on an airplane, isn't it? And so the train pulls out of Chicago, leaving Greg Marlowe somewhere behind, and Mary, Harry, Pop, and Calvin are left to their own devices as they head west. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
Conductor, is there any way a man can catch up with this train if he misses it?
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Car speaking. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Yesterday, the crack Hummingbird Express left Chicago heading west with Mary, Harry, Pop, and Calvin aboard, but no sign of Greg Marlowe, young playwright secretly in love with Mary. Now, a few miles west of Chicago, in Mary's compartment, in the Martha Washington Pullman, we hear.
I think we ought to rehearse some lines today. Sit here and read them.
Yes.
It'll help us get familiar with the play, possibly.
Even though Greg isn't with us, I imagine he'll be making some effort to join us in Seattle for our opening.
You know, Harry, it occurs to me that there's a distinct connection between Greg not being here and your black sheep brother being absent. I haven't seen him since Chicago.
You know, that's very true, Mary. Fielding and his cohort Eddie were with us when we stopped in Chicago. Then they seemed to disappear, and after having said they would be in the show when we play it in Seattle.
I have some misgivings. I have a feeling that there is a definite connection. I just hope that they haven't harmed Greg Marlowe.
Well, anyway, here's the play. You have a copy of it, Mary, do you?
Yes. All right, well, let's start right here on page 1. Might as well.
All right. Door
opens.
Door opens.
Oh, it's you, Edward. Come in.
Yes, and you, Margaret. I hadn't expected you to. Can you, Pop, can you close the door to the compartment?
Yeah, I'll take care of that. It'll slide shut. You still can hear voices out of the hallway outside the compartment.
Edward.
But they'll be lower.
I know this is probably no time to bring up a subject like this, but you know, it's been years since we visited. I can't say it.
What are you crying for, Mary?
Well,
she's not crying.
It's in the play that way.
She's supposed to cry. That's what it says in the play.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Following the book here. Go ahead, Mary.
I thought you was in some kind of pain, Mary. Please, excuse me.
Sorry, Mary. You're out of the mood now, I imagine.
Let's take it from the top.
All right. Door opens. Edward enters.
Edward.
Why, Margaret, it's you.
Yes. You know, it's no time to bring up this subject, but you know, it's been years since we...
What's the matter, Mary?
There's nothing the matter. I'm just emoting.
He's acting, Harry.
That's part of the thing.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
Part of the show. When you act like that, you cry.
Right. She hasn't seen Edward in a good many years, and she just feels very warmly
Wait,
that he's...
haven't you read it all? The play has nothing to do with
I
that.
just glanced through it, Mary. I haven't really gone into it to any extent.
No, it turns out that we hadn't visited our hometown. If you'd only read ahead, Harry.
Is that what you're crying about?
Well, I'm not crying about it. It's the way the author wrote it.
That's what I mean. In the play, you're crying because we're going back to our hometown.
I can't stand it. I'm going crazy, too.
I told you you'd hear him out there in the hall even with the door open.
I think you're all nuts.
Can't do anything.
I'm going to get off at the next stop and fly home to where the real people live.
Why don't we go down to the lounge car, Calvin, and let them rehearse by themselves? I think they're just confusing things.
And so as Mary and Harry try to continue their rehearsals, Calvin and Pop Beloved, stage doorman, head for the lounge car. Be sure and join us tomorrow when Fielding returns, and we'll hear him say,
"You've got nothing to worry about. Marlowe's gonna be all right."
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. It's shortly after our last episode now, and in the lounge car of the Crack Hummingbird Express heading west, Calvin and Pop Beloved, stage doorman, have come, leaving Mary and Harry to rehearse their new play, Westchester Furioso. And as we join them, we hear Calvin.
I think it's better that we leave them alone there because we're only interfering with their artistic talents.
Oh, yes, they can't study lines with people walking up and down outside.
I don't know how people can remember all those lines in a play. Can you, Pop?
Well, let's just practice, I guess, Cal. Here, let's sit down here. This looks like we'll be near the piano bar. I think that... there's the train buff again.
I know he takes notes all the time.
I know he does.
We've all noticed that by now, so I begin to wonder if maybe he has some other function other than to irritate us.
I like the introduction of live entertainment on the train of the lounge car, though. It's pretty interesting. Oh, I guess a picture of White Ones.
Yeah, make that two pictures of the great white big mouth.
Hey, look, the fellow's singing there at the piano now. Let's listen to him. Kind of catchy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Time after time after time after time.
They're easy lyrics to remember.
Just time after time, it's all he's singing about. After time. You know, I just looked at his notes over his shoulder.
Yes?
He has written there that G. Marlowe not on train.
That would be Greg.
Right.
Young playwright secretly in love with Mary.
Now, my question is this. Why would he write that down on a piece of paper? For what purpose would it serve?
You know, I've got a question in my mind. Why would he have any interest at all in Greg Marlowe?
Well, that's just what I said.
Oh, I knew. I heard it someplace.
Exactly what I said. Sometimes you get my goat.
You suppose he's some kind of a... Wait a minute. Do you suppose he's some kind of a secret agent of some kind? A detective or something who's been following Greg?
Well, let me put it this way. That thought has been racking around in my brain for a couple of days. He's obviously acting like a kook to throw us off, to fool us. I think his mission is diabolical.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say diabolical, Calvin. I would go as far as to say diabolical, Calvin, but certainly is something mysterious about it. something that maybe we should tell Mary and Harry about.
Here's your pictures.
Oh, thank you. He's paying.
Who's paying?
I pointed at you,
that fellow there.
Calvin.
The fellow with the pointed head, Bob.
All right, I'll pay for this group of pictures. You can pay for the next group.
Okay.
I think that fellow's going to sing again. He looks like he's counting off the tempo. Yes, he is. Here, here's your money, waiter.
Time after time after time.
Look, I'm going to take my picture back. I can't stand this. I'll see you, Pop.
Yeah, it's better back there in the Martha Washington than it is here in the lounge car.
Time after time.
And so the train rolls westward with Pop, Calvin, Mary, and Harry aboard. A question about Greg Marlowe's whereabouts, and still another question regarding the train buff. Be sure and join us on Monday when we'll hear Mary say,
Did you notice the man singing time after time had a tape recorder under his tie?
That's in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
Chester Hasbrook Frisbee, author of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. How long has it been since you've been writing that wonderful continued daily story?
25 years.
Has it been that long?
Yes, it has, Bob. And,
Chester Hasbrook Frisbee, I want to pass along the congratulations of the many people who stopped me on the street personally and said, I really think that
Bob. He's ticked, you know. He's told you 1,000 times. Just call him Chet.
Well, but he doesn't. He's not a Chet person.
Yes, he is. He just...
Neither is Chet Huntley, come to think of it.
It's too stuffy, you know, that Chester Hasbrook Frisbee.
Well, he's trying to get with a little bit, but I've always called him that. You've always called him that.
But he's told you 1,000 times to call him Chet. You know, I mean, so why don't you do it? I think you just try to irritate him. I really do.
No, I'm not really.
Kind of rub him the wrong way.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway.
Today, as the Crack Hummingbird Express approaches the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, we join our friends in the lounge car, where Mary and Harry are rehearsing their roles of Margaret and Edward in Westchester Furioso, the play that's to open in Seattle, as Calvin and Pop sit by listening to the...
So I think, Edward, that when we do visit Westchester, we should plan to visit the McBees.
Yes, Margaret, I think your idea is a good one. An idea which certainly we should consider. What's that next line? Oh, hello. Hi, Mary. Harry.
Hey, what's that, Mary, you're wearing there?
It's a brooch. It was Oh, be quiet. It was bequested to me as a bequest.
It was from her bequesting grandmother.
Yes.
It certainly is beautiful. Look how that simulated gold shines in the light here in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains as we roll westward.
And notice this clasp. You cannot open this accidentally.
It looks like a safety clasp that wouldn't come loose and lose that beautiful brooch.
I'll never lose this brooch, not with that clasp. And look at the imitation leatherette right around the edge of this. Isn't it just beautiful?
The shape of it itself connotes good luck, I guess, of some sort.
Yes, it's supposed to bring the wearer good luck, I was told. It always brought good luck to my bequesting grandmother, who bequeathed it to me as a bequest.
When she died?
Yes.
Mary wears it every day. Wouldn't be without it. No, I've never noticed it before. It certainly
good luck, like they say, Mary? Yes. It has always brought me good luck, I think.
I'll bet every one of your lady friends who sees that, Mary, expresses great interest in getting one for themselves.
Just this morning, I had a person come up to me in the dining car and asked me about it. She thought it was so attractive, she wanted that maybe she could right away and get one like it.
A complete stranger it was, too.
Yes.
Didn't even know Mary or me. What did you tell her? She could
I
get
told
one?
her that, no, that she can't right away.
Oh, it would be far too expensive to even try and duplicate such a beautiful brooch.
I wonder if maybe someday our listeners might be able to have a brooch like it.
Mary, I think that's completely out of the question.
Oh, that would be a pipe dream. No, they could not have anything that good.
Consider yourself lucky that you've got the one and only of that lucky imitation brooch. And so, the crack Hummingbird Express heads into the Rocky Mountains, nearing its destination, Seattle. You'll want to be here tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin Hoogovan say,
"Oh, I wish our friends in the audience could have a brooch like that."
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Word Car speaking. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Aboard the crack Hummingbird Express taking them westward to Seattle, Mary, Harry, Pop, and Calvin sit in the lounge car discussing the fact that the play is due to open on the 20th of April. And as we join them, we hear...
I just can't get over that beautiful brooch you're wearing, Mary.
Certainly is beautiful, Barry, and one that all of your friends would certainly admire to own, I'm sure.
Well, I said, many people on this train have come up to me and said, where in the world did you get such a beautiful brooch?
Not only ladies, too, Mary. Some of the gentlemen have admired it and asked where they could obtain one for their wife or loved one, or both.
Or either.
Yes.
But it would be too expensive to try and imitate, certainly. That expensive-looking imitation gold.
Hey, look, he changed his act.
Hey, that's the trade boss, still with us.
Saying Schenectady.
Wait a minute. That sound like shooting to you? Yes, it certainly does to me.
Well, you know, we're in the foothills of the Rockies, sir. This is bad man country.
Hey, wait, the train is slowing down. Yes, I think we're being attacked.
You don't mean to tell me we're in the middle of a train robbery? In 1973?
Well, it could happen. The train's coming to a stop.
19 what?
73. 73. Yes, it's definitely stopping.
Here comes the conductor with his hand over his head.
Hold up, folks.
Look who's behind him. Doesn't that look like Fielding, my long-lost black sheep brother?
Stand aside.
Yeah, and his cohort Eddie.
Hey.
Hold up now, Governor.
Put your hands up, everybody.
You mean this is a stick-up Fielding in 1973?
Give me that brooch. Give me that brooch.
He's pointing to the brooch, Barry.
Oh, here. But don't you realize that this was given to me as a bequest by my bequeathing grandmother?
It's a good luck brooch, Fielding. Always brings Mary good luck.
Can it? Give me the brooch now.
Well, here is a surprising turn of events. The train has been captured by Harry's long-lost black sheep brother Fielding, and he demands Mary's brooch. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Mary say,
I don't care. Shoot. I won't give it to you.
In the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. As we left our friends yesterday, Harry's long-lost black sheep brother Fielding and his cohorts had just held up the cracked Hummingbird Express in the foothills of the Rockies, and Fielding was demanding Mary's good luck brooch. Now, moments later, we hear...
No, you'll have to shoot me. I will not give you this brooch.
That's one of Mary's dearest possessions, Fielding.
All right. If that's the way you want it.
You're not, Fielding.
Take this!
Are you hurt, Fielding?
They got me.
That train buff took a shot at you.
You got me in the shoulder.
Come on, let's get out of here.
For a minute, I thought I was shot.
Wow, I thought he was shooting at you, Barry. Thanks very much, sir.
Hey, come on, let's get out of here.
Right, come on,
let's go.
He's not as crazy as I thought he was. You okay, Barry? Well, that was a close call.
Is it still here?
Yes, it's still around your neck and still as beautiful as ever, Mary.
I want to thank that. Where did he go?
He ran back into the next car for some reason. He'll be back, though, if I know him.
He is such a mysterious person. Here, all across the country, he's been going or Schenectady, and yet, when we needed him, he was right there.
When the chips were down, he proved his mettle, all right.
But why does he act so hard? Crazy like.
I don't know.
Here he comes again.
I'd like to thank you for saving my wife.
Thank you.
Oh, he's gone on ahead into the next car. Well, the train's rolling. We're heading west again.
Hey, gang, you hear the train was held up?
Yes. Didn't you see Fielding, Calvin?
No, I'm down in the club car. I just heard about it now.
Well, he was on, and that train buff took a shot at him, and he jumped off the train again.
The train buff took a shot at Schenectady?
No, at Fielding.
Oh, at Fielding?
Yes.
Oh.
Prevented him from stealing Mary's good luck brooch, the one she wears all the time, the one that brings her good luck, and the one that all her friends would like to have a copy of.
Well, their friends would love to have it now. Now you can see how lucky that brooch is.
Certainly saved your life that time, Mary.
Yes, I think because I was wearing it. It saved my life.
And so the train moves on again, headed for Seattle, and the Backstage is opening in Westchester Furioso. Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
"Hey, they arrested the train buff. He didn't have a license for that pistol."
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.